Hey, what's up everyone? So today I'm going to be talking about my 4 favorite novels that I read during my undergrad here. I am an English major, so these are typically considered literature. They're not young adult fantasy or anything like that. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you my 4 favorites. Let's go! Some of these books I have with me, some I don't, some are at home, some are here. So I have some of them and I don't have some of them, so bear with me as I work through that. The first novel I would like to talk about that was one of my favorites I read last spring in my Herman Melville class, and that was Moby Dick. I know it gets a lot of hate, it's too long, it's too boring, it's too this, it's too that, but I loved it. I like the attention to detail that Herman Melville uses. You can, when you're reading, you can just really see these places he's going and experience what he's experienced. And I just think there's something really special in that. Plus, the novel is just so jam-packed with all these metaphors. Every page you have to challenge yourself to know what other point he's trying to get across, along with the main line of the story. I think it is fantastic. It is such a good read. It is hard. It's dense. It'll take you probably a week or 2 to get through it if you're a fast reader, just because you can't sit down. It's not one that you can sit down and just flip straight through. It's long. You need to digest it. You need to look over each chapter and think what really happened there. Another thing I like about it is that it really takes you on an adventure. I feel like, unexplainably, I feel like I know a lot about whaling now. I do know a little just from reading it, and I feel like I've been on this adventure with Ishmael and his crew going to around the world to hunt this white whale. And I just think that's something really special in writing to be able to do. And there's also a sense of mystery in the novel that you wouldn't expect. You don't really know who's doing what's going to happen. There's a near murder, stuff like that happens, and and so I think that there's something in this novel that will appeal to everyone if they want to sit down and just get through it. Like I said, it's tough to read. It's not something you're going to want to read by the beach and read in a few hours. You're going to want to take time to devote to this and read it. I do recommend it because it is such a good book with so many morals and little lessons in there. It talks about white colonialism, it talks about animal rights. Some people have written on that. So there's just tons surrounding this book that you can take out of it and you can make it what you want. The next book I read in undergrad that I absolutely adored was last semester, and it was Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. This is such a good book. This is one of my favorite books I've read in undergrad. It's one of my favorite books overall. I adore this book. I adore the cover even. This is just such a beautiful edition. 2 things I want to talk about in this book. It really deals with masculinity and toxic masculinity. Janie goes through 3 men in her life, and none of them are very good, and it shows the repercussions of that. And along with going through those men, I don't want it to say she just flips back and forth, but she does have 3 primary men in her life, and none of them treat her well. Another theme of this story is the individuality. Janie doesn't have a lot of that. She wants to be, really, in the beginning, she wants to be her own person, do her own things, but by the end she's just become the men she's with. And so it kind of leaves her wondering what's going to happen now. So yeah, if you're interested in any of those 2 things, I highly recommend this. Plus, this is just a staple of literature, especially African American literature. It's such a good book. It's a pretty short read. The only thing is the dialect, so it'll take some getting used to, but you can read this in a few days pretty easy. The next book I want to talk about, I don't have again. It's The Road by Cormac McCarthy. This is also one of my favorite books I've ever read. I read it last fall, not this past fall, but the one before. And it's just so dystopian and so weird, and it just really sticks with you because it's post-apocalyptic. It's something that could happen and that I can see happening in our future. So it raises questions like, what would you do in that scenario? Is suicide the best option? Is one of the big ones. And I know that's jarring to hear, but the mother is in a place where she's what are we gonna do? How are we gonna raise a kid? They never know who's cannibals, they can't get food easy. Just nothing that we have that we think about being readily accessible is accessible in this book, and so it makes you wonder, like, what would you do if that were to happen to you? But it's also very, very sad, but it's a good read, and I think everyone should read it and just consider, like, what we're doing to the planet, and that something like this could happen in our future, and will we be prepared to handle it. Overall, I think this book, it's a pretty quick read. It's kind of like Their Eyes Were Watching God, about the same length, but the difference with this one is where that one has dialect, this one has just some really deep themes that's going to be hard to get through mentally, I think, for a lot of people. It's just a tough novel to read, so keep that in mind when you read this one. So my fourth top read for college is Wise Blood by Flannery O'Connor. I just read this book this past semester, just a few months ago. I love this book. It's kind of weird. It's actually called The Grotesque, which refers to the way she writes it and the description she gives and just how outlandish some of the things that happen are. This is about a man named Hazel who founds the Church Without Christ, and I see it as a critique on religion and Christianity. Some people see it as being pro-Christianity. I don't see it that way. Feel free to disagree with me. I just wrote one of my final papers on this novel. It is very good. It's a very quick read. There's only a tiny bit of text in this version on each page. You can read this in a day or two easy. I recommend it if you're interested in religion or just kind of weird out there novels that you don't typically read. This one is very good. So that concludes my 4 favorite novels that I read in undergrad. Please leave a comment leaving your favorite 4 books from undergrad or high school or whatever, your 4 favorite books, it doesn't matter. I would love to hear from you guys. Please like and subscribe down there. I'm planning on uploading on Mondays and Thursdays. That is subject to change. I have some vacations coming up this summer, but that is my plan as of now. So Mondays and Thursdays you'll see videos, especially if you click the notification bell, and I would love to have you guys and interact with you. Please follow me on all my social media, it's listed down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.